Hi, I'm Chris Tallentire and I'm a member of the State Parliament of Western Australia, and I'm with Mark McGowan, who's the Manager of Opposition Business in the Western Australian Legislative Assembly. Now, Mark, this week we've asked the Premier questions about the use of consultants. How does his use of consultants compare with how things were done when we were in government?
Well, our last full year in government, we spent $10 million on consultants. That was 2007. In his first full year in government, he has spent $25 million on consultants. So that is 2.5 times the rate of which the last Labor government spent on consultants. And many of these consultants are personal friends and Liberal Party friends of the Premier. Now, the issue running wild in Western Australia today is the issue of the cost of living on ordinary families and pensioners. And when we see this sort of expenditure, is it any wonder that costs, fees, taxes and charges are all going up so much?
And is there any justification for bringing in this outside knowledge when we have such good expertise in our state government agencies anyway?
Well, in many occasions, no. Occasionally you do need a consultant, but to spend $25 million on consultants, some of those are bizarre, the sorts of things they're spending the money on, just says to me that they do not have their priorities right.
Now, all this comes on the eve of a federal election. How do you feel the atmosphere in the House at the moment?
Well, it's quite tense. People are very much excited by the prospect of the federal election on Saturday. In many ways, I think most people will be happy it's over so we can get back to state issues as opposed to federal issues. On both sides, we've been raising federal issues. I think as of Saturday, we'll be back onto modern state issues.
Do you think there's been some blurring of boundaries with questions without notice, people asking questions that are totally in the domain of the federal government rather than state government issues?
I think both sides have done that, and naturally we support our federal colleagues. The Liberal Party support their federal colleagues, Tony Abbott and the like. We're hoping Julia Gillard's Prime Minister on Saturday, and we especially hope Alana McTiernan, one of our former colleagues, is elected to the federal parliament on Saturday.
It's going to be very exciting on Saturday. Fingers crossed.
It will be. It'll be a long day.
Thanks, Mark.
Hi, I'm Chris Tallentire and I'm with Sue Ellery, the Labor leader in the Legislative Council. Sue, cost of living issues, ever present as an issue for West Australians in this Barnett era. How have you been tackling that in the Legislative Council?
What we did was add up all of the increases that have happened to an average bill for an average West Australian senior household, and what we found is that bills have increased by nearly $700. When you add in the increases for electricity, gas, water, motor vehicle registration and emergency services levy, it's nearly $600 worth of additional funds. But of course the payments that seniors receive through the cost of living rebate scheme range from $78 to a maximum of $157 a year. They don't match the cost of living increases that the Barnett government has imposed on seniors. So we asked the Minister, was she going to revisit the way concessions were paid to seniors and the amount of concessions before next winter, when we know that demand will increase and prices will have gone up again? Unfortunately for WA seniors, the Minister wasn't able to give a commitment that they're going to look at properly compensating seniors for the increase in bills.
Now, we invited up to Parliament seniors from many electorates. Did that, having the human face there, have any impact on the government, do you think?
That's certainly what those seniors who came to Parliament hoped, that the Premier would be able to see the faces of the people who were really struggling to pay their bills. So far, the Premier seems oblivious to the impact that his bills are having on seniors, but we've just got to keep the pressure up.
Well, in Parliament, the West Australian Parliament, we're in an atmosphere of eve of federal election. Do you think that sensitises the government to wanting to be seen to please people, meet their needs?
It's certainly the case that when you're out and about talking to people, one of the most significant issues for West Australians right now is the cost of living. Whether they're seniors, whether they're families with children, whoever they are, everybody's feeling the pinch on these increases. There's definitely a heightened awareness about it during, 36 hours now to go until the federal election. But so far, the Premier Barnett seems oblivious to actually doing something to help West Australians.
And Sue, election day, what does that hold for you?
Out and about in the electorate, helping my federal colleagues and candidates who are running in the election. Looking forward to it. A busy day and hopefully a good day.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sue.
Cheers.